How many of you out there have poured your heart and soul into a relationship, only to feel like you're chasing after someone who's always just out of reach? You bend over backwards, trying to get closer, but they just keep pulling away. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and frankly, it's a recipe for heartbreak. Today, we're diving deep into the dynamics of chasing avoidant partners, and more importantly, what happens when you finally stop. Because let me tell you something, the moment you stop chasing is the moment everything starts to change. You start to see the situation with a new clarity, you reclaim your power, and you open yourself up to a whole world of possibilities that you never even knew existed. So if you're tired of feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster, buckle up. We're about to break down the 9 things that happen when you stop chasing an avoidant partner. And trust me, some of these might surprise you. Think about it. When you're constantly chasing after someone, showering them with attention and affection, they get used to it. It becomes their normal. They might not reciprocate it, they might even take it for granted, but it's there. But when you take that away, when you stop chasing, it creates a void. Suddenly that constant attention, that validation they were used to receiving is gone. And you know what? They notice. They might not admit it, they might not even realize it consciously, but that absence, that silence, it speaks volumes. When you're chasing after someone, you're essentially giving them all the power in the relationship. You're letting their actions, or lack thereof, dictate your emotions, your self-worth, your entire day. It's like you're handing them the keys to your own happiness. But when you stop chasing, you take that power back. You're no longer waiting for their call, their text, their validation. You're making your own choices, setting your own priorities, and living life on your own terms. And that, my friend, is incredibly empowering. When you're caught up in the cycle of chasing and seeking validation, it's easy to overlook red flags, to make excuses for bad behavior, to convince yourself that things are better than they actually are. But when you step back, when you stop chasing, you gain a whole new perspective. You start to see the relationship for what it really is, not what you want it to be. You see the patterns of behavior, the lack of effort, the emotional unavailability, and that clarity, as painful as it might be at first, is invaluable. Chapter 4, they might reach out. Remember that void we talked about, the one that's created when you stop chasing? Well, sometimes that void is enough to make the avoidant partner actually reach out. They might send a casual text, ask how you're doing, or even try to reignite the flame. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean they've had a sudden change of heart or that they're ready to fully commit. Often it's more about testing the waters, seeing if you're still available, if they can still pull you back in. And Chapter 5. Your emotional health improves. Chasing after someone who's emotionally unavailable is emotionally draining. It's like running a marathon where the finish line keeps moving further away. You're constantly on edge, second-guessing yourself, wondering what you did wrong. But when you stop chasing, when you let go of that need for their validation, you release yourself from that emotional roller coaster. Your stress levels decrease. You start sleeping better, you have more energy. You're no longer pouring from an empty cup, and that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. Chapter 6. The relationship dynamics shift. This one's a bit of a wild card because the shift in dynamics can go one of 2 ways. For some avoidant partners, the pressure's off when you stop chasing. They feel less suffocated, less controlled, and they might actually start to come around more. But for others, your newfound independence can be a threat. They might pull away even further, retreat deeper into their shell, or even disappear completely. And as much as that hurts, it's important to remember that their reaction is a reflection of them, not you. When you're constantly chasing after someone, it's easy to lose sight of your own value. You start to believe that you're not good enough, that you need to work harder, to be more, to deserve their love and attention. But when you stop chasing, you start to see yourself through a different lens. You realize that you're worthy of love, respect, and reciprocity just as you are. You deserve a partner who chooses you, who fights for you, who meets you halfway. Here's the hard truth. Even when you stop chasing, even when you reclaim your power and realize your worth, an avoidant partner might still stay distant. They might continue to struggle with intimacy, with vulnerability, with letting you in. And as frustrating and heartbreaking as that can be, it's important to remember that you can't change someone who doesn't want to be changed. You can't force someone to be emotionally available if they're not ready or willing. Here's the beautiful thing about doing the work, about reclaiming your power and realizing your worth. You start to attract healthier connections into your life. You're no longer drawn to the same old patterns, the same emotional unavailability. You're open to meeting people who are emotionally mature, who are ready to meet you halfway, who value and appreciate you for who you are. So there you have it, the 9 things that happen when you stop chasing an avoidant partner. It's a journey of self-discovery, of reclaiming your power, and ultimately of opening yourself up to a love that's truly reciprocal. Remember, you deserve a love that sets your soul on fire, a love that makes you feel safe, seen and cherished. Don't waste your precious time and energy chasing after someone who's not willing to meet you halfway. Stop chasing, start living. Because the right person will meet you right where you are with open arms and an open heart.